Hey, this is part two because I think my internet stopped working, so it like cut off the video in part one. Sorry about that. So, anyway, we were talking about INFJs and INFPs getting along. And I forgot which point we were on. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Okay. We were on point number two. To solve conflict, try and peacefully explain how you feel. And that works well because both INFPs and INFJs are very empathetic people. So if one of them learns that the other one has been hurt by something that they've done, they are they don't want that. They hate seeing people hurt. So they're going to do whatever they have to make sure this person doesn't feel hurt. So if you approach it from that way and say, like if the INFJ maybe was waiting on their INFP friend to show up at a certain time and place, but the INFP is late because the INFP is always late for everything, and it kind of messes up the INFJ's entire day. They've never told them that before because they don't want to hurt their feelings, but now they're just having a really bad day, so they're starting to get angry. So when the INFP finally shows up late, how should the INFJ handle it? Should they be blunt and direct? Probably not. That's usually not a good idea. Being direct is fine, but it's better to be direct about your feelings instead of about some accusatory criticism of the other person, especially if it's a sensitive INFP. So instead of saying, you're always late and this is starting to get irritating, yeah, that's not going to go well if you say that to the INFP. They might smile and say, "Oh, I'm sorry," but you won't be hearing from them forever after that, or for a while. So instead of saying that, it might be better to say, "Last week when we didn't leave from here until really, really late because we started late, I felt really bad after that because I didn't get to do all the things I wanted to do that day. And the same thing happened the week before last too. Um, so I feel kind of bad when I don't get to do the things that I want to do or everything that I have planned for the day because our whatever we run long doing whatever it is we're doing. You know what I'm trying to say? I'm trying to say just talk about how you feel instead of making a blunt criticism of one another. Because you're both empathetic, we're both empathetic types. So that means we're going to be more open to talking about feelings than about accepting just direct, blunt criticism of our personalities. I hope that made sense. The third point was not something I found online, but just something that I found personally. And it's that INFPs, we tend to shut down, even with people who we care about. Like, we'll just go radio silent sometimes. And especially if you are in a relationship with someone, like a real relationship, it's not good to do that. It's better to be open, to be very open. So INFPs who are in relationships with INFJs, it's really important to make sure that they don't feel like you're shutting them out. To be very aware of your need to communicate, probably more than you've ever communicated with anyone ever in your entire life. Be open and communicate. Remember that you chose this person because you know you can trust them. So it's okay to talk to them about whatever's going on up here. because I know our natural inclination most of the time is when we are stressed or unsure of how to handle a situation, we shut the world out so that we can confer with ourselves or like just stare at a blank wall and try and figure things out while the people around us wonder what we're doing. Um, but if you're in a relationship with an INFJ, you have them at your disposal. They love to help. So instead of shutting them out and staring at a blank wall while you try and process your problems, open up to them and communicate. And even tell them if you don't know what to say, don't know how to express what you're feeling, say that. Say, I don't even know how to express what I'm feeling, but, and then just, spill your guts and don't be afraid to do that. And the fourth and final point that I thought about was in my friendships with INFJs, I often have so many great conversations with them and feel more connected to them than I do with most people. I really, really love INFJs. But I also often find myself being lectured by INFJs. And that is the one thing about our relationship, usually, that will make me question our friendship. So, INFJs, it's really important to listen more than you lecture. Um, One of the beautiful things about INFJs is that is their natural desire to help people and their ability to do it so successfully. They are so empathetic that it's easy for them to put themselves into another person's shoes to understand why they think the way they think, why they view the world the way they do. And as they're doing that, they naturally think of ways that this person could improve. And then they go ahead and try to take steps to help them improve. That's what they do. They go out of their way to help other people. And when INFJs find themselves in a friendship with an INFP, they often find themselves in a friendship with someone who needs a lot of improvement because although we're INFPs are super creative and have big dreams and want to do so many things for other people, it can be difficult for us to find the road to get where we want to go. It's hard for us to achieve our goals a lot of times. But INFJs are just the opposite when it comes to that. They usually are great at planning ways to reach goals. So when they see that they have this person in their life who they care so much about who's struggling to reach their goals, the natural inclination might be to jump in and be like, hey, I'm going to help you. Here's what you got to do. I came up with a plan for you. It's 10 steps. You can do this. I will work with you every day. I will show up at your house is 4 a.m. okay? Because 4 a.m. is good for me. So we're doing 4 a.m. I will show up at your house. I'll help you. And the INFP may be like, this is nice that they want to help me, but I'm starting to feel smothered and I think I need to run away. That is what will happen. Or they might kind of try and push those feelings down and be like, okay, I need to listen to this. I need to listen to this. I need to, but I really am angry for some reason. And then that anger will come out in some weird way. It'll just be some weird quirky behavior that the INFJ is going to be like, where did that come from? And it's because they're angry with you and they're trying not to be. So the point is, instead of lecturing or coming up with a plan right away and then just like dousing them in this plan, ask them questions first. Because I know as an INFP, I often feel overlooked, ignored, and yeah, just those words. And I think a lot of INFPs struggle with this because we are often soft spoken. We often have trouble verbalizing what we want to say. We're usually better writers than better speakers. Um, and we don't, because we're not usually status oriented, are worried about getting a lot of attention and being the best. Like that's not our thing. So a lot of times people, yeah, important people don't really notice us because they usually notice other important people, other people who want to be important. So we're usually not on anybody's radar, and it can make us feel like uh, no one really cares what I think. So that's why when we do choose to be friends with someone or be in a relationship with someone, it's very, very special because it usually means we found someone who we think cares about our thoughts, who actually, unlike most people, notices that we exist. So if that person suddenly starts to lecture us, it will come across not as them helping us, but more like they're criticizing us. And then we'll start to think, oh, well, they're just like everyone else who looks down on me. So I guess that's the end of this friendship. And that might actually end a friendship. So, yeah, it's better to, instead of just lecturing an INFP, listening to them and making sure that they feel heard and then helping them because, yeah, we do need help most of the time. But to, yeah, just make sure that they feel respected. So that's it. I think those are the only 4 points I can really think of. The first one was to focus on squashing conflict quickly instead of letting things fester. Secondly, when you're squashing that conflict between your INFJ and INFP, the way to do it is to talk about how you feel, how this other person's behavior made you feel. And when you talk about that, it will make the other super empathetic person who you're talking to feel like, oh, I don't want to make you feel bad. And it'll make the conversation go a lot easier and you can solve your conflict quickly. The third point was that INFPs have to remember to communicate and to be open, to not be closed off in their relationship with their INFJ. They have to make sure that they are, I don't know, just being as open as possible. The fourth point was for INFJs to be flexible and to give the INFP room to make their own choices, be who they are, and to make sure that INFJ should make sure that they listen more than they lecture. All right, that's it. If you have any other suggestions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.